Penn State has landed former Iowa State quarterback Rocco Becht out of the transfer portal. Welcome into the Tengwall Film Network and another episode of Portal Profiles. Today's video is brought to you by Gold Hen Bloody Mary Mix. Longtime supporters of the content here at Tengwall Film Network. They make great stuff for tailgates, parties, you name it. Make sure you guys grab you a bottle at goldhenllc.com. Support those who support us, keeping everything free, no paywall, just Tengwall. Hit that subscribe button. All right, this one has been talked about since we hired Matt Campbell here at Penn State. Rocco Becht is going to be joining all of his former coaches. His quarterback coach for 2 years, Jake Waters, is now at Penn State. His offensive coordinator, Taylor Mauser, who had really Rocco Becht's best year under him was in 2024, which was Mauser's first year. The whole gang is getting back together. Now, Becht, I mentioned, had his best year in 2024. A little bit of a slump in 2025 while he did fight through multiple injuries on both shoulders. Had a sprained AC in his throwing shoulder, messed up his labrum in his non-throwing shoulder, so had to deal with some surgery, but does seem like he is going to be back on track to be able to be just fine for the start of this 2026 football season. Someone I think is incredibly talented, can make any throw you ask him to, and has also got the mobility factor. We haven't had someone like this, I mean, really since Bo Prabula, but as a starter, since Trace McSorley. This guy can get loose. He is dynamic. He can make all the throws. So without further ado, let's get into the tape. I'm sure many of you clicked on this video wondering, okay, who is Rocco Becht? The number one thing that you need to know is he's going to sling it. He is not afraid to fit it into tight windows, especially when he has pressure in his face. He's got basically the whole defense up here, and he knows pressure's coming off the edge. He only has a certain amount of time. It is third down, and he just does a great job anticipating, but also just firing it away, not being afraid. But, I mean, you see where he releases this thing as he's about to get hit. I mean, he's throwing the ball pretty much all the way over here, and he's just trusting that the wide receiver is going to get over top. He knows that this guy's going to go underneath, this guy's going to go over top, and just puts it exactly where it needs to be as he's getting laid out onto the ground, hits the wide receiver right in the hands. That's a drop by the wide receiver. I mean, but these are the type of plays, and these are the things that Ethan Grunkemeyer did better at, but Drew Aller didn't really like to take these type of risks. You're going to see this right here. If there's a window for a ball to be fit in, well, Rocco Becht's going to take that opportunity. Does a really good job. He always goes through his progressions really well, reads both sides of the field. So he's looking right, I snap back left, and he knows he's got this route coming over the middle. It's going to be a sit route right about here. So he sees 45 start to expand, so he knows he's not really much of a problem, but starts as he's throwing this 32, looking right at his eyes, he is starting to drift into the picture. And this is what you get when you have a quick trigger release. This helps a lot with the tight window throws. Boom, just absolutely lasers that thing in there. That was really, really close. Just look, I mean, that's torque. That's just fires it. It's about as close as it can get. But look, these are risks I want my quarterback to take. I want him to see there's an opening, there's a tiny little open window. Well, boom, I'm going to throw it in there. I mean, that's a dot right there. And if this is thrown anywhere else, this could be you got the cornerback coming right here over top. You get the linebacker underneath. There's only really one place you can put this football, and that is right on his face mask. That's great delivery from Becht. He's going to anticipate. You're going to see in a little bit, sometimes he will make the decision that he's going to throw the ball somewhere before he even really sees what's going to happen. And that can come back to bite him, and you will see that. But, I mean, right here, the entire way, he knows where he's going. He's reading just the left side of the field here, and he sees what's going on, sees this safety kind of sitting down underneath. So he says, all right, boom, we're going right over top, and I have the arm talent to put the ball right where it needs to be. And just overall, the mechanics from Rocco Becht, I really like them. It's always super smooth. The ball flies out, boom, you see how quick the release is, boom, just lets it go. And the other piece of this too is just the hips, and this is something that you take for granted, but his mechanics, because he's an older guy, they're always good. He's always driving off this back foot, boom, rotate, hips all the way through, planted on this leg, shoulder, numbers, everything in line, hips are on track, and you get a ball like that where it goes right over top of the linebackers. There's no chance, and guess where it hits them? Right in the face mask. You're going to see a lot of these. Rocco Becht makes routine throws routinely, and that's what you want from your veteran quarterback, and that's why Matt Campbell wanted to go one more year with Rocco Becht. So here he is throwing a comeback route. He's getting a ton of pressure up in his face. He knows he's got limited time, so he's starting to drift. And I like it, though. Even though he's moving around in the pocket, he's still able to set up and get those good mechanics where he can plant off the back leg. He can push his hips all the way through. You see how he fires through. Once again, everything is on target for Rocco Becht. Hips, arm, your number on your jersey, all of that right at him. And it's the zip. It's the zip on this ball and why he's able to just fire this thing out. Boom, hits him right in the chest. Wide receiver is able to catch it and turn upfield here for some more yards. Now, right here, this is just a very simple kind of RPO, and he's just slinging it out there. Too many times this year for Penn State, especially earlier on, these type of passes right here would fall down here at the ground, and the DB would be able to make the tackle, or we weren't even completing them. But I love seeing this right here where he's just letting it rip. I mean, look how quickly that ball gets out. It's just fired in there. The receiver's able to just snag it out of the air and go get yards. But this is what I mean by routine throws routinely. Now, a big reason why I'm such a fan of Rocco Becht's game is because you just saw he zips it. He's going to just absolutely laser some balls in there. But he has great touch. This is a big part of the Mauser offense. You are going to take one-on-one shots, and you got to put some good touch on the football. A lot of these, I mean, that is perfect. That's exactly where you want the football to be. I would almost call this, he's almost in there a little bit early, this DB, but right in the bucket, and you allow your wide receiver to make the play on it, is not able to come down with it. But these type of touch passes, where you just see how it floats, like this isn't a line drive, it's not a straight-up moon ball that we're used to on the one-on-one opportunities. It's just perfect touch, and it's right where it needs to be so often because he throws these type of footballs all day. You are going to get one-on-one just kind of go routes, and I'm going to lay it up for you. Now, not only are you going to lay it up for you, but you also have the back shoulder. And this is something that Penn State hasn't thrown a lot of over the years, and I wish we would throw more. So Rocco Becht here, it's just one of those things where you're just looking, and if he sees one-on-one coverage, it's like, all right, I'm just going to put it up for my guy, and it's the same thing here where it's not a laser, it's not a moon ball, but he understands I'm trying to give my receiver a little bit of time to adjust. I'm throwing this back shoulder. I want him to get up, be able to go up, make the play on it. That is a fantastic throw, great catch, but that's trusting your wide receiver. Like I said, you're going to see these throws all year, but the touch he puts on the ball to allow his receivers to be able to adjust to it, that's what I really like about Rocco Becht's game. So right here, misses his guy a little bit long, so you might say, Landon, why did you put this on? Honestly, I think it's a perfect pass. I blame the wide receiver here. If you watch him, not right there, he goes into this, and now the ball's already out of Becht's hands, but he goes into this and then kind of just completely slows down and stops. If you notice, like right there, like he turns around for it, just kind of starts to jog almost for a second, and then stops. But if he would have just actually ran into this, if he would have right here just full speed and then turn your head around right at the goal line, that's a touchdown in the back of the end zone from Rocco Becht. But constantly has good touch and has a good feel. And look, it's going to take some time with these back shoulder throws, with these high balls. He's going to have to get comfortable with his wide receivers and trust that, they know what he's going to throw in what situation. That's where you start to develop that rapport with your quarterback. But it's the same thing. The touch on these balls where it's not a moon ball, it's not a line drive, but it's one where I'm laying it up for my wide receiver, giving him a chance to go attack it and have time to adjust in air, and you're getting catches like that. And then there's just special type of touch where you're just putting just enough on it, where you got to float it over top of someone. This is a 4th and 1 right here where everybody thinks this is probably a run, and you're going to go ahead, you're going to slip a tight end out over top. He's got a little bit of space. But, I mean, the anticipation from Rocco Becht, look where he releases this ball. I mean, that's great. And once again, this is what you got in your face. He is used to playing with pressure on him. Let's get him a better offensive line. But just lays it up right in the breadbasket on 4th and 1 to your guy, keep the drive alive. And he had a lot of different passes like this. You're going to see a lot of these little jump passes almost where the defense, they all think it's kind of a run. He's going to pull it, and it's almost like a little pop pass. But this is great touch here once again, puts it, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. This guy is plastered on the tight end. He puts it where it needs to be. He's not able to come up with it. But Rocco Becht has great touch. Now, obviously, it is not all great. The one downside to Becht's game, I would say, is that he does predetermine where he's going to go, and I told you that sometimes. He can be very decisive, and he can fit some balls in some tight windows, and sometimes he just predetermines, and you see 32 this whole way, because Becht is just staring this down. 32 is playing in zone, so he's reading his eyes and seeing, hey, he's staring this down. I'm just going to get on a line drive, and he throws it, doesn't even see him. That should be a pick six going the other way. He is very lucky here that throws it right at the linebacker. This is where I need him, especially in his last year of college football, to take that next step and scan a little bit more. If you know this is where you want to go the entire way, all right, then peek right here at 32. Hold him with your eyes and then snap it and fire it out there. But you can't have these type of pick sixes because Big Ten defenses, Ohio State, they are capitalizing on that for a pick six. And he did this a couple different times where he just doesn't really even look. Now, he does get kind of bailed out here because this is a defensive pass interference. So you're going to see this wide receiver. I think he's trying to throw some type of back shoulder here, but he looks middle of the field and then doesn't even really see this flat defender that's kind of playing this hook curl, but he's just, once again, watching his eyes. As soon as Becht snaps out here, he goes, all right, I'm going with this. And if it wasn't for the fact that this cornerback just absolutely just took down this wide receiver out there, Becht throws it right to the defender. That's an easy pick. So that is just one thing, the predetermining of the pass of where I'm going to go with it. That's where I need him to go to the next level. And then there was just one more right here where sometimes he does try to put he tries to put that perfect touch we were just showing you on. And he's just he's sitting back here trying to buy time. And when he looks back over, trying to just make a play. And look, this is what you get. Sometimes you have to live with the fact that your quarterback, when he's a playmaker, he's going to try to make a play. And something like that, listen, Kansas State was dropping all types of interceptions, but he puts it right in the hands of the defender, so you need a little bit more on that. So he has thrown some interceptions that I'm sure he would like back, but overall, I can live with these. Now let's talk about Rocco Becht's mobility, because I mean this is a big piece of his game and really why he's the player that he is he can take off and make plays like this. I mean, we have not had a guy like this since Trace McSorley that can do this, where you got some free blitzers coming, he's going to go, oh crap, all right, I'm going to find a way out of this thing, jukes to the right here, makes 6 go vertical, makes him get out of the way. I'm moving around it. He kind of really does remind me of Trace with a better arm. I low-key see that. Not all the way, but that would be my comp that I would give, and Trace is going to be one of his coaches. But just right here, you run out of time, and so I'm just going to wait for my block. Boom, I'm going to go get vertical. It doesn't have world-class speed, but the good speed that you need. And listen, sometimes I'm glad we got a good sliding quarterback. He knows actually how to just slide, get down, actually just kind of gets like knocked down right there. But I mean, he's quick. He's not super fast, but that's all you need. You need someone that on 3rd and 5, their legs are a threat, and you have to be thinking about it. The DNs have to be worrying about contain. You can't go too far outside or he's going to take off up the middle. That's a great part of Becht's game. Now, right here, what you're going to see a lot, especially because he's playing in Mauser's offense, this is the same offense, you're going to see him moving in the pocket. So what we have here is a TTO, a triple throw option. So the first piece of this is a natural read option where you are just reading this defensive end. This defensive end crashes down in, and so if he crashes down in, that means you're going to pull it. That's the first part of the triple throw option. So now I'm going to pull it, and now I'm running out into the flats. And now he has the option to run the ball if he wants, or I can dump it off to my tight end. And you're going to see a lot of these kind of boot actions out of really him in this Mauser offense. You're going to see that a lot with Becht. And it's easy yards. It's something that Penn State really got away from. Back when I was playing for Penn State, we did a lot of these, even under Mike Yursich. We got away from the boot action. And I think it's so easy. It's easy yards. Here we go. It's 2nd and 1, and you're saying, okay, so in the last one, the tight end was open. What happens when everybody is actually covered when you're running this boot stuff? So here, everybody's kind of shelled up here. Well, Becht can go and get yards, and you start to make these DBs, you have to make them decide. If I want to come down and make the tackle, 21 then can loop over the top, and I can dump it off over top to him. But you're putting the defense in conflict, and you're just able to get easy yards for your quarterback. You make it easier for him. These are the plays you get to early in the game, in 2nd and short, 3rd and short, that are basically guaranteed yardage. So you're going to see a lot of that on Becht's tape. But I like this. He knows when to just tuck it and just go get the yards that are available to him. And then right here, this is just his ability to continue to be able to extend the play. And this is kind of what I mean, where you're putting the defender in conflict. Does a great job here. So kind of is looking around, and we'll look at this in a second, but always does a good job. He stays calm in the pocket, reads here. I'm looking back over here, going through my progressions. Okay, time is out. Now it's time to scramble. And this is what I mean. When you get to this point right here, this is what's nice about Becht's game. Because he's so athletic, he knows I'm going to stretch this to the sideline, and I'm going to make this defender decide. Does this defender want to plaster on my running back, or is he going to try to come tackle me? Because whichever option he takes, I'm going to go the other one. So you see he waits, and it honestly puts him in a pickle and just really kind of takes neither almost. And so waited long enough and stretched this out long enough, boom, I'm dumping it over top of you. First down, keep the stick moving. And then here's the other fun part of this offense. Because you have designed quarterback runs with Rocco Becht, and we'll get into all this. I'm sure we'll do more film breakdowns on him. But you kind of get where everybody, you're doing what you kind of looks just like a quarterback read to the right where he's just taking off and everybody's just blocking for him. So what that does is everybody thinks he's just running. So this sucks everybody down in. So he does a really good job going, and then pops his head right up. Tight end sneaks past everybody, and you get a nice little pop pass here. Listen, Rocco Becht, sometimes his receivers were screwing him. If the ball hits you right here, I need you to hold on to that. But these are some of the fun things that you can do with Rocco Becht in your offense. And then I just wanted to show this last play. I didn't want to do a million of these plays because it's kind of boring, honestly. But sometimes quarterback play needs to be boring. He does a fantastic job going through his reads. So this is what I was talking about earlier. I snap to the left. I'm reading the whole left side. Give him even a pump fake there. Okay, no, we're not there. We snap back to the middle. For what you start to see this linebacker, he's going to jump this thing. Nope, don't like that. Now, eyes all the way back to the right side, and I'm able to get it out to my check down. My running back puts it right on him where he needs it to be able to turn upfield and go get yards, except he drops the football. But this is older guy stuff. This is when you're a fifth year, you can do this. He also has really good protection, so that's what allows him to be able to do this. But so often on his tape, I see him going through his reads, going through his progressions, and not really panicking too often. I think Rocco Becht was a great get for this Penn State offense.